Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I'm back again for another live stream episode. Let's get it. Welcome to the pod.
How's it going, people?
How was your week, man?
It was good. It was good. Kind of just settling in to the new dynamic. Work and everything, and a lot of random shit going on. People keep coming to the office and cutting catalytic converters off the trucks.
What?
Yeah, like it happened before, and then they came in this morning and they cut 2 more off.
How are they get?
They're just coming in the middle of the night and saws on them bitches off the exhaust. Just
Are they like? I mean, I know catalytic converters are important, but are they getting a decent amount of money for doing that?
Yeah, you just scrap them.
I think the funniest thing was I remember when they were anytime they were building anything, especially back home, you heard nothing but motherfuckers coming in there and basically in the middle of the night and taking out all the copper wiring and all that shit.
Oh yeah, they'll cut the wire out, cut the pipe. Well, that's why they stopped running plumbing with copper piping, because fuck around, spend couple thousand dollars plumbing the house. Somebody come in the middle of the night, cut all that shit out, and you got to redo it.
Yeah. Were they doing it because it's more quality than if you were doing PVC or something like that? Kind of just depends.
It depends. I mean, it's just precious metals are. I mean, they're hard to come by. Plastic's easy to make. It's cheap. It's not easy to make. It's easy. It's relatively easy compared to a lot of other shit we make, but
I mean, is the precious metals a lot more? Is it more quality? I guess.
It just lasts longer. When you do it right, it lasts longer.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen in the trade these roofs or anything like that. I mean, has the quality kind of diminished, or it's just a different realm, if you will?
No, 100% quality's diminished. I mean, you can look at anything from piping to wood. I mean, even the wood we use now isn't as sturdy. It's not as strong because a lot of the wood we were using early on was old. It was old wood when you would cut down a tree.
And now it's because I think we were talking about this on a previous pod, but you got places that might be 5 years old, if that.
Yeah, well, that comes down to the builders. They, I don't want to name too many companies, but KB Homes and that general type of builder where it's the cookie cutter neighborhoods, all the same size lot with basically the same house, but you got maybe 6 different combinations of a layout that you can and there might be 3 different exterior options with the layout can change a little bit here or there. You can go wall inside, whatever, but yeah, dude, even the wood we use for framing these days, it's pine, but it's
it's not what it used to be.
The demand has made it so that we have to harvest it faster.
Okay.
And I mean, granted, it's a certain age that you're going to get the shortest turnaround for the highest amount of wood. Okay. So you're going to get the most money for your time invested.
I mean, I'm only curious about now, especially maybe in the last 10 years, even now, any house I guess built in the early 2000s, 2010s even to now, are they going to be here 20 years now, or just going to be constant maintenance?
You go down to Nocatee, that shit hasn't even been fucking a decade, and they're already having issues electrically, plumbing, the roofs. They threw that shit up so fast.
Like
that.
I understand demand to a certain degree, but it can't, like, quality in anything can't, you can't sacrifice quality for demand.
It's that money, that's that turnaround, the ROI, the return on investment they're looking for. That's all they care about. Because you get, a lot of them will give you a 5 to 10 year home warranty through the builder.
Okay.
Once that's done, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So they're really only incentivized to make that shit last that long.
Yeah. I mean, you have so many people that, I'll be honest, like, if I were to go in, especially with what I've seen and what more information I have, I'm like, you have so many people that it's a combination of keeping up with the Joneses, but also, like, that looks new, so I want it. Which is, like, if I were to go and, like, actually have a house built, like...
You have to be so careful with who you choose to build it. And it's because it's not just...
And then you have these, like, in any business, but especially I've been hearing that more in construction, like, you just have people that, some people just don't do good work, or they have the fly-by-night people, like...
Yeah,
and it's...
You see a lot of in the roofing industry, these storm chasers that they come in and they try to make as much money as possible off the destruction, and then they do jobs and they do shit work and they get paid and then they just disappear forever.
Yeah.
You never hear from them. You have no recourse because, I mean, realistically, all they gotta do is if you can set up a LLC in an hour, get cheap business insurance online, and you're up and running in a matter of a day.
Yeah.
And that it provides you with all the paperwork that you need.
Yeah. I mean, especially stuff like that in those, like, type of industries, especially like in auto care and stuff like that too. It's
I should rephrase that because that'll get you all the paperwork to convince a homeowner to let you do the work.
Exactly.
You're not pulling permits. You're not doing that because you don't have a license. Blah blah blah. But I mean, there's a lot of people like that. They're in a lot of trades, and it's just, nobody wants to do those jobs anymore.
Mm.
I mean, it's a shame because you'd make fucking good money doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing there's a lot of like a lot of these trades are having a really hard time bringing in the younger crowd right now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're throwing licenses at people.
Yeah.
Like, the electrical license is open book. You sit there with all the answers in front of you. You just got to know how to find them.
Yeah.
And
even with the little thing I was doing, that little side project I did for a couple weeks, it definitely gave me a lot more insight. Because I mean,
bro, you were digging.
Yeah.
That shit.
Like, I've always didn't mind hard work. That was just so, like, I felt bad for them because it was like they were always expecting me just one day, like that was it, or they paid me like 2 days at a time or something. It's like, yeah, if you really need it, you can get it, but we'll just give it to you next day. I'm like, no, I'll be back. Like, and the fact that I kept coming back, it was.
Dude, that as ridiculous as it sounds, just getting people to show up and work is hard.
Like, there was...
But on the flip side of that, you were doing the work, so you know why it's hard to get people...
Yeah.
Because you got a weak constitution. You ain't sitting there with a shovel in your hand all day long.
Nah. Even when, like... Because, like, it was like an initial ad, and it was like, can you dig all day? And I'm like, I'm not really knowing what I'm getting into. And I was like, nah. Yep. Some of these days, I dug from like 7 in the morning till like we take lunch around like 11:30. So like we miss all the 12 o'clock stuff, and it goes to like 3:30. And I'm just like, digging, and like it took me a minute to figure that, like, if I ever have to dig a trench, I'm always going to get a flat shovel. I hate those, the regular ones, basically. Because it's, all you have to do is just line it up, keep going. The only thing which sucked was the guy that was digging the trenches. He dug them. Sometimes he didn't dig them deep enough, and then sometimes he curved them. So it was, like, there'd be times where I'm on, like, they're telling me, yeah, you just have to get this, and then I'd have to find, like, the other pipe, and there'd be literally a pipe that's completely covered. So I have to dig it completely out. Me trying to chunk it off just to kind of smooth it out so it doesn't cave. I can't even remember how many times I was almost done. And then literally...
the whole side plays in. It's just, y'all, doing it again.
Yeah.
But... yeah, you say that with the flat shovel because you were digging in loose dirt.
Yeah, well, that too.
Wait till you get some trees around you. Get some real packed ground. You ain't doing shit with a flat shovel. They may... I mean, like, well, realistically, and that, as fucked up as it sounds, that's the easy job.
Yeah. It's very, like, this is why I'm kind of against the whole 15 minutes. Because, like, I was getting paid $15 an hour to do that. I went to McDonald's yesterday. I got something simple. And then I come in there, I come back, open the bag, and I'm like, you guys got my fries. I got a sandwich, small fry, and some nuggets. I look in the car because maybe, like, it might have went over. I'm just like, the amount of anger. For like a split second, I'm just like...
what did they get wrong?
They forgot my fries. It was only a small fry, it was a McDouble, and it was 6-piece nuggets, and I'm like... I walk back up to the house, and I'm like, you motherfuckers want $15 an hour.
I got one for you.
Okay.
I ordered. I started because I like McChickens. It's classic, whatever. I started getting in the habit of ordering double patties.
Okay.
So I told them at the drive-thru, I'm like, hey, can I get a McChicken but add an extra patty to it?
Okay.
They're like, you want what? So I was like, a double McChicken, and then they're like, we don't have that. No. And I'm like, no, I'll speak slower. Maybe you didn't hear me. Maybe it broke up. Yeah, can I get a McChicken but add an extra patty onto it? So there's 2 patties on the McChicken. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. You see the grill option on the menu? Yeah. Press that button. Okay. You see the new menu that just brought up? You see where it says add extra patty? Yeah. Press that button. Okay. And I seen it change on the menu. I'm like, now you know how to do it. I said, how you know how to do it? Bro, it don't matter.
That's neither here nor there.
Just look. I don't got time to explain to you a crash course on how to operate that register, or how I know how to do it. It's been like 15 years, and I don't want to relive those days. So,
oh my god.
But it's a shame that goddamn system hasn't changed in 15 years.
I mean, it's a duplicatable system, but the funny thing about it is,
it gets better.
Well, okay.
I finish ordering, and I get there, and I get to the window, and because I always order, if I'm ordering something, I change it up by a little bit. Like I'll add extra pickles, no onions, something just simple to change it, so they have to make it fresh. So it's not been sitting in the tray.
That's actually pretty smart.
McDouble extra pickle, or McDouble light onion, because I don't want them little tiny onion chunks. I hate them.
Okay.
But I'll change something. So I'm guaranteed that sandwich is fresh.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's a trick my dad taught me. Okay. But I get there and they pass the food out to me and I look in there and there's a 10-piece nugget in there. I'm like, these dumbasses gave me nuggets. I'm out. They put the patty in a nugget box and put it in the bag.
Oh my god!
They put it on the sandwich.
Oh my god!
And I'm just standing there. I'm like, I said the same thing and I was like, y'all motherfuckers want 15 an hour? What the fuck?
Well, did you look at the price?
Yes.
I looked at the...
It varies depending on where you're at.
Where you go. But
yes.
No more dollar sandwiches. Mm-hmm. No. I just looked at... I looked at it like... McDouble like...
$2.99.
Yes! Yes!
$3 goddamn for a sandwich. It was $1.07.
You cocksucker. I'm like... And then I got back sauce. That was about 35 cents. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh. Well, bro, the extra patty is like $2 extra. So you're spending $5 for a goddamn double McChicken. Anyway.
Yeah.
But like, we've both done that job, and we understand realistically how simple that job is.
You just have to have a good esteem.
But at the same time, some places are paying $15 an hour for that job, and they still can't get people to show up. So how the fuck do you expect somebody to show up and dig all day?
They're not. And then you have a lot of people say we're willing to. You have a lot of people that, unfortunately, if they don't have any options, that's one thing. But you got people out here that like, I can work remote.
I was going to say that's something that COVID really brought to light is the amount of options that people realistically have.
And you have people where it's like, I don't even have to come to an office. Even like a lot of these
people are sitting home and they're like, I can do my work. I'm here spending the day with my kids. If they need anything, it's like, why the fuck am I even going to this office?
Yeah, I mean, we're still like. It's kind of like I know the 007s where he met the new quartermaster,
the new Q,
and he's like, well, we still need triggers pulled. Like, even though it's like we can do drones and I can click on my computer, we still need people out there in the field. You're still gonna need people to lay the foundation and things like that, and. You can incentivize people all day long, but it's to the point where you're gonna have to put people, which you would think people are already in must-win situations now, where you got people hiring left and right, where it's like you have a lot of people that. It's one thing if you have a degree, I can kind of understand.
I'll be
But
honest.
at the same time, it's like a job is a job.
Look, like, bro, I'll be honest. Unless you're in a field where that degree is necessary for you to do that job, I really don't have any respect for a degree because
you just wrote a whole bunch of papers and you were in class.
Well,
I mean, you don't unless you had clinics, then that's one thing. But.
Look, you gained a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
But
you still need the application. And the fact that you don't have the application is more times than not the reason why you're not getting the job. And then you're not willing to do the unpaid internship for a year to go and get the job. Which is kind of fucked up, but it kind of is what it is. Like, not everybody can have a cushy office job. Like, we're gonna need people in the trenches, literally. Like, and you have so many people where
you call it a cushy office job, but like realistically, that environment is so counterintuitive to what we are. I mean, you're sitting in a confined space. First, you're sitting.
Yeah.
This is not a natural position for us to be in. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's just sitting in that office, in that chair all day. And most people don't have any kind of additional exertion or exercise or anything throughout the day, so they're subjected to this crazy, like, sedentary lifestyle. You're getting artificial light all day long. You're not getting any vitamin D. You're not getting
unless you go out of the office for lunch, which a lot of the times people don't even.
The break room.
Yeah, people go to the break room like that. And you have so many, like, even like before all this stuff happened, where people are like, I like the the money it provides me, but it's killing me inside. I
think, well, that's another thing that people realize. They reevaluated realistically what they need.
Yeah.
And what it takes to make them happy. And you had all these people that were pursuing these things that they thought they needed, but they really didn't, and they were killing themselves doing these jobs and working these hours that they just didn't need to. And it came to the point where they were like
life is more than this.
My rent's paid. I got food. Yeah. And for the ones that couldn't afford it, were like, maybe I should just move somewhere where it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Maybe I should cut back on this. Maybe I should stop doing that.
I mean, you have a lot of people that, and then unfortunately you have the people where it's like, I don't want to stop doing any of these things, but I want to be able to do those things and work less. And I'm sorry to say this. When you inflate your lifestyle to that point, to where, and like,
well, for a lot of people, it's incremental. It wasn't like they went from not doing a whole lot to immediately doing all this shit.
Yeah, it goes 0 to 100.
It just kind of it incrementally progressed to that point where they were just, all they were doing is working, no time for anything else, and
I think of that a lot.
I got all this stuff, but I don't have any time to enjoy it.
Yeah, where, you're working for somebody that, you're building their dream, and a lot of the times, especially with everything that went on, people figured out that, I'm sorry, like, if I die, and they some of them had to actually see it happen, where you're hearing stories about people, like, I'm talking about having panic attacks, or passing out, and then, a coworker or their boss is saying, I know you're in here, but, what's the password to this? What's the password to that? As you're getting rolled out on the money. And I'm like, fuck me, right? And it's like, you have people that, I probably said this, like, a lot, but we build our own prisons. Like, well, as far as, like, I just want to say, like, a car or whatever else, like, you don't need the Audi or you don't need the Mercedes-Benz. You want the Mercedes-Benz for what the Mercedes-Benz is. It's that, hey, I got an Audi, I got a Benz.
And it's not even that they want that specific thing. It's what they want. It's that feeling they get when other people see them with it.
Yeah.
And, but another thing is this, it's almost like, counter what you're saying as far as that is this idea that everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Like, everybody needs to start something, start their own business, content creator, whatever you're going to call it. It's kind of nonsense because
everybody's not designed for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have people. Unfortunately, you had people that were very content on working their job, going on maybe 1 or 2 vacations a year, and now you see somebody maybe a little bit more attractive than you, younger than you, not only having more than you, but doing all the things that you've always wanted to do at a faster pace, and it's almost like, why can't that be me?
That, I think, is one of the biggest problems in this country, is that people are so concerned with comparing themselves to other people.
Yeah.
And it's like, Live your life.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what they're doing. Stop worrying about what he's doing, what she's doing.
Like,
worry about what you're doing or what you're not doing. Like if you see somebody doing all the shit you want to do, what's stopping you from doing that?
Exactly. Like,
aside from you saying, "Well, we got to go to work," or I can't afford it," or like.
Exactly.
I mean, yo,
yeah,
you want it. You're gonna find a way to make it happen.
And not everybody, and a lot of those people, like, I think the worst thing, but also the best thing is when you see somebody that, like, it's very easy to scoff at somebody that's just had money straight out the gate. But when you see somebody, I'm talking about, not only had the same as you, but had less, and did what they needed to do to get not only past you, but literally, like, there's that envious where it's like, you didn't want to, you wanted that, you said you wanted that, but you didn't want to do what was required.
Yeah.
And that shit was hard.
Well, and yeah, they want the glory, they want the rewards, they don't want to put the time in.
Exactly. Like, even like, you don't even necessarily have to be an entrepreneur. When people say, you know, especially some of these socialists, progressive, liberalist people, where it's like, I'm not going to be able to afford a house ever. I'm like, how much money you make? $2,000? Okay. If you're not making enough at your job, you got two options. You can do it something else to, even if it's generating another, like, $1,000. Like, generating another, like $2,000 is literally an extra $83 a day.
It is.
It's not anything crazy. It's just, do you really want to do it? And if you don't want to do that, just say you don't want to do it. Don't wish upon a star. I'm sorry. Don't wish upon.
I mean, yo, Gary Vee says it every day. Go to garage sales.
Yeah.
Go on Craigslist to the free section. Find some shit. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. Make $20 here, $30 here, $40 there.
They hate that man sometimes.
The next thing you know, after a month of doing this shit, you can have a couple $1,000s in your pocket that you didn't have before. So, like, yo.
I think the funniest thing was because they see all. I was like, well, Gary, you came from a wine business. I'm like, yeah, a wine business that I worked in that I had no equity in when I left.
That was failing when I came into it. It wasn't necessarily failing.
It
wasn't going nowhere.
It was like a typical liquor store. Mm-hmm. It was a typical liquor store. And
they were making money, but they weren't doing anything crazy.
No, they were like a lot of people. I think they forget the convenience store owner, the person that owns the Chinese restaurant. Like, these are businesses. Like, even the person that might own an Ace Hardware store or whatever else. Especially if you're dealing in products and not services. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of overhead. So just because you're a business owner and you might be able to go and send your kid to maybe a little bit more higher school, and you might go on maybe one more vacation than you, it's almost where it's like, I made the sacrifice to work for myself, where with my experience, I could probably go and get hired somewhere and make more money. But I'm not going to control it. And I'm going to be at the mercy of somebody. Even though I might have to put in the first 5, 10 years or whatever else, but it's just coming down to
why you knocking the quiet life with the 2 vacations a year? Why are you knocking that?
I'm not knocking that.
Sounds like you're knocking that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
Look, if you're punching that 9 to 5 and you're collecting a paycheck, working towards somebody else's dream because you just don't have the drive to do it, or not even necessarily that. It's just you have other priorities and other things that you're working towards on your own that you're committing the minimum amount of time you can to make sure that you can do what you're doing. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there isn't. I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, like, never let anybody shame you for having that life, because, I mean, I've worked 1,000,001 jobs. Various different spectrums. So,
go on Craigslist. I'm gonna stop hitting on camera. On my fault.
Nah.
Over there in my face.
Nah, you're good. But
go on Craigslist. look at the jobs, pick one. I guarantee this man has done it. Doesn't matter which one you pick.
Imagine coming to a place where you knew one person and you only came here from like 800 miles away from the north. You transferred from a staffing agency because you came here initially for 30 days. Then you had to go back for, what was that, I think 8 weeks? Mm-hmm. 8 weeks to take care of what you needed. You had unfinished business. You sold off everything from your apartment. You had a little bit of money. By the time 30 days was up, you didn't have any more money. So, unfortunately, you had to come back. Unfortunately, with your tail between your legs. And then you had to grind. And you, again, you had to have a family member buy you a ticket to get here, to get back. You slept on the floor. And then from there, now, you slept on the floor with another sibling. And in 8 weeks, you took care of every financial obligation you had to do at the same time paying the person back in driving right out of that place back here to spend the next 4 years kind of between working and doing whatever you wanted to do.
Bro, you got here, you disappeared for like 6 hours and came back with a cab. I thought you were coming back in a cab. I'm like, how the fuck is he gonna pay for that cab ride? Because like the last time I talked to you, you said something about going down to the beaches, and that's like hour and a half, 2 hour ride.
I didn't even know where shit was.
That'd be a goddamn expensive ass ride. Holy shit! I'm like, fuck.
Dude, I didn't know where shit was.
I'm like, do I got cash if he needs to help cover this? I'm like, I'm not seeing you out of the driver's side. I was like, for a split second, I was like, you steal that cab?
But I mean, you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Not helping you steal in the cab's case.
Yeah,
no.
But I said that to say this. Never let anybody shame you for living whatever lifestyle you want to live. There's nothing wrong with living the simple life. The entrepreneurial life is not for everybody. Take it from me. It's hard. It's way harder than any job I've ever worked in my life. Because at the end of the day, if you don't make shit happen, it's on you. Yeah. You can't go and say, hey, I didn't get my check. You know why you didn't get your check? Because you didn't fucking work.
I'll interject with that and say that that's the case with anybody, but the repercussions in your case are way... You don't got that safety net. It's...
Yeah.
It is all on you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's across the board.
Yeah.
But the consequences for somebody in that position are, I mean, tenfold what they would be for somebody that's not in that position.
Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, it can be very stressful. Like, there's been times where we've had to have conversations where I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I'm like,
bro, I've been there.
I was like, should I just go back to the workforce? I got my sister still 4 years in business. And they're like, we need to get you a job. I don't want a job. Like, we need you to get your job, man, $50. Like, it'd be one thing if I'm like, I see it. I see the type of, like, and sometimes even I compare myself to my contemporaries or people that have been in business for as long as me or even a shorter time. And it's like, it just depends on what you do when you get in it.
I mean, no, dude, I was there for a little while with the landscaping business. I mean, worrying about overhead, paying supply houses.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 3 people working for us at one point. I'd worry about making payroll for that. Making payroll and making sure I paid the supply house for the fucking order I just made to have them go out and do so I could, and then had to fucking worry about paying them to do it. And no, it's stressful as fuck because Nobody's gonna do that shit for you. And it's like, if you don't do it, everything fucking shuts down.
Yeah, it's when you kind of have to make certain executive decisions where it's like, okay, well, I gotta make sure I pay certain people now because I can make certain people wait. And
well, there was a moment where I had to decide whether I was going to pay my outstanding bill at the supply yard for like 20 yards of mulch.
Okay.
And making payroll, I could pay for 2 of the dudes. I couldn't pay one dude.
Okay.
And still pay.
Okay.
Actually, no. I could only pay one of the guys, and it wasn't the full amount because he put in overtime, and I couldn't fucking afford the overtime, so I was going to pay his regular check. And I'm like, I had to have this conversation in my head, like, okay, realistically, to me, it's more important that I pay off the supply house because
you need the supply.
Well, I had worked up a good enough rapport with them that they would front me material to an extent.
Okay, as long as you...
If I paid within a 3-day period.
Okay.
Which it was usually, I was paying that day or the day after because I would get the material delivered, do the job, and then come back that day or the very next day and pay it.
Okay.
And I was like, I gotta pay them, so I'm gonna pay them.
Okay.
Now I gotta have this conversation with these guys about who's not getting paid, and I have to deal with the fact whether they walk on me, and then I gotta get off my ass and finish the rest of these jobs for this week between me and what's his name, assuming he sticks around.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen often that I couldn't pay them because I wouldn't bring them on if I couldn't pay them. But it would just happen to be that one time where everything hit at once.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing, like, and it's especially like it's that domino effect where it's like there's, I mean, even even in the last couple months have been a little just people want to get, of course, services done, but they just don't have the money, or they have to wait, or things like that. And I'm starting to, it's not necessary, it's just like, I want to get this done, but I just don't have it. I just don't have it to drop, where earlier in the year, it was like, I said the number, it was like, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Where now I'm playing this game where
it's like
I gotta chase people. I'm trying to figure out, okay, cool, do I, because I usually don't like taking any type of payment until people, sign their contracts and things like that. Just how I always did it, and then usually send an invoice and that's thing get paid, instead of just like, okay, let me take your card information over the phone, blah blah blah, or whatever else. And it's getting to the point where, and luckily I have leeway, in my business where I'm starting to realize, like, do I have to be? It's going to have to be a little bit more. It's still business, but it's going to have to be like every other business where I can't budge on things. There's certain, making certain accommodations, things like that, because I'm, still, like me and another, employee, on another side. And it's where, okay, I'm going to have to take your, like, if this was any other business, it would be, okay, well, come back to me when you got the whole thing. Or things like that.
Well, it's you're in a weird spot because you want to be able to show them the results and then get your payment.
Yeah.
But you don't have any kind of recourse to really ensure that payment gets paid.
Yeah.
Versus take a contractor doing work on your house.
Yeah, exactly.
If they can be like, all right, well, we'll do the work and you pay us after.
Exactly.
You sign a contract with them,
And then you can put like a lien on.
Yeah, you can put a lien on their house to where they can't fucking do anything. They can't take equity out. They can't sell the house. They can't. Most other contractors won't do any kind of work to your house if there's a lien on it, because they'll see the lien and they'll be like, "Oh, well, what's this about?"
Yeah.
And if they say, "Because you didn't pay a contractor," they're like, well, "I'm not doing work for you."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I've been dealing with now for the past couple months, and now it's like things are starting to come, but it's like having to be like, okay, like before we do anything, locking somebody in, but I never wanted to do that because I never had anybody that I usually give somebody like a 24 or whatever. Notice.
What is your average turnaround
usually
before you see results?
Yeah, usually within 30-60 days. So if not after the first round, usually after the second.
And that you're basically guaranteeing that a certain number of things will get knocked off the credit score, or that their credit score will go up?
Their credit score will go up. So I can't because at the end of the day, I'm just using the laws that are available. So I always tell people, because I was talking to somebody that this lady, she built one of the bigger companies up here in Jacksonville, and they got bought by Lending Tree.
Yep.
And she was telling me, it's like, you're still a business. So just moving from like, it's kind of like, and you were doing landscaping to where you were doing good work, but also it can't be, I was your dad's name of the company?
Osborne Home Care.
Okay, so it can't be, it has to be Osborne Home Care instead of Trevor's Lawn Care Service. If that kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
name specifies a lot with what you can do with it.
So that where it's like, you want to do good business like any other people, but it has to make that shift to where it's more of the company than more of you.
Okay.
And that was
yes.
That
because
was
it can't. Well, it's also about protecting yourself, because
exactly.
If something happens, you want them to come after the company, not you personally.
Exactly. And then, of course, even if, let's go and say, you're like, Trevor did the best with my lawn, he's very attentive, things like that, and then they're asking for you by name. And then it's where...
Then it becomes Trevor with whatever home care. And
then, and then it's to the point where it's like, it's almost like, if you ever went to like, so I might give you this example. So like, really early in the morning, if you go to Starbucks, like maybe like 5 or 6, you'll see like the CEOs and things like that. You wait a couple hours later, then you see the employees. You wait maybe another hour later, then you see all the self-employed people. So it's that, it's making that shift to where, even though I want to help you,
you're in a business to make money. You're not in a business to,
exactly.
You are helping people, but
exactly.
That's not why you're in this business.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, then maybe you should take what your average turnaround rate is and offer them some kind of money back guarantee.
No. Well, I do. So, because I was just straight up doing like a full money back guarantee. Because I've had, out of the 100-some clients I've helped in the past 4 years, I've had like
I don't think you should do a full money back guarantee, because you were putting a lot of legwork in. You're doing a lot of work to improve those scores.
The lady, she was telling me that, just like, no. And then, because, again, it was me, even though it's me still treating it as a business, but treating it as like, not like I'm your buddy, but like,
can't be doing favors.
Exactly.
You go out of business.
Exactly. So I don't necessarily do that anymore, but that was something as far as just because a lot of this stuff was like trial and error and things like that, and it's like, no, like my time is, and just realizing now where you gotta be firm on things. And
well, you can call it a money back guarantee, but it doesn't got to be 100% of what they paid.
No, of course. So yeah, because I mean, there's just certain things like I've been doing this for so long that I tell people you don't need to have perfect credit to get what you want. Companies just want to. You need to have a certain amount of things off to get certain things, but companies just want to know, like, even if let's say you came to me with shoddy credit, they want to know, okay, over the next year, did you put that line in the sand and say, moving forward, I'm going to pay everything on time, I'm going to do what I need to do, because most companies are looking at the last 2 years. They understand that things happen.
Yep.
You got people that get overwhelmed and they rather do debt consolidation things instead of, I got 5 companies I need to reach out to. I don't need to call a debt consolidation company to charge me it's like, no, just call them up individually, say this is what's going on. Don't, like, and I feel like it comes down to mindset as well, because you have so many people, whether it's lower, poor, or even middle class, to where I feel like everybody, when you, like, there's no reason for me to call you if I don't have your money, type of thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what am I going to say? Oh, by the way, I still don't have your money. And people don't understand all the calls are recorded, but they're not pulling up any of these calls. It's I'd rather talk to you 30 days late instead of talk to you at 180 when there's nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we could have talked and we could have figured this out. And now there's really nothing I can do for you. But, yeah.
Every now and again, I'll get the urge to start something up again.
What do you mean?
Like start up a business, and it's just I remember that stress and worrying about, because right now there's not a lot that I worry about.
Yeah.
I'm in a decent position at a good company, working towards somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
And I'm well compensated for what I put into it.
Yeah.
But it's also that they understand that it's not my company, so I'm not going to put in as much as they do. But I still put forth more than I really need to.
Of course.
But
there's certain companies that they're starting to understand that now. Which it was something unwritten to where, of course, like, but that was on the premise of you treating me right. If you're not treating me right, why the fuck am I going to be working my fucking ass off? And it's...
Well, it used to be, you would, if you were going to work for a company and you were going to invest your time, and for a lot of people, it was a very large portion of their life invested in making a company work, at which point it came your turn to retire, and then the company would take care of you.
Yeah.
They would pay for you for the remainder of your life, realistically, because you spent your life making that company run, and whatever it was.
Yeah.
But then at some point it just turned into, well, we're concerned about our profits, and if you're not...
You're living too long.
Well, yeah, it's that, but it's also, we don't care enough. We're more concerned with our bottom line than we are with
the people
that got us there.
I mean, you got companies right now like Kellogg's, and I'm hearing there's a union right now that they were trying to bring people in, and it was getting ugly.
Why?
Apparently, I forgot about this when I was in the union a couple years back. But
like bringing in new people, or like bringing in scabs to take their jobs because they were on strike?
Yeah, the second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will get people...
Yeah, they weren't having that. They weren't having that.
They'll fight them. They'll beat the shit out of them. Won't even let them get into the building.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Even with Kellogg's, it was like it was ridiculous. I'm like, you guys like are.
I mean, but on the same tune, like, why? It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's the people inside that you're fighting with. How are you gonna sweat somebody for trying to put food in their mouth?
Yeah, like what do you like? I understand the sentiment with any type of strike, but do you believe that they're just going to be like, okay, we're just going to shut up because you're not going to work? No, we're going to find other people.
I like collective bargaining for certain reasons, and it works in certain situations. But like at the same time, this, for better or worse, this is capitalism. There is going to be someone that will do that job for less money, and be happy to do it.
Yeah,
and you just, if you're gonna go walk yourself into that situation where you're gonna strike and refuse to work until your demands are met, you better hope those demands are reasonable to where they agree, or they're just gonna find somebody that's not gonna make those demands and do what they want.
Yeah. Like even I mean, running a business is you have a lot of people that they have these. There's certain side hustles I could call businesses. There's certain ones that I don't necessarily call them businesses because there's a certain amount of things that you're needed to do to run a business. And
what would be your line in the sand that would differentiate between a business and a side hustle, or just kind of like?
Okay. Well, I feel like the biggest difference is when you have these they plug in these systems. It doesn't matter if it's multi-level marketing, network marketing. I think the biggest thing is the system. There's a lot of businesses, even mine. I'm tweaking mine now, but businesses are ran off of systems.
The processes,
The processes. You have even like was it Extra Yard or any of the lawn care companies we worked for? Any of these companies, when you think about like, even if it's not the best system, it has a system where, like an Extra Yard, if Tony just wanted to get rid of, let's gonna say everybody except for, unless we'll say maybe hire one of the sons back on. As long as you know how to do, I can, or even if you didn't, but you were able to, they could plug damn near anybody in that system. You just need to be competent. So there's a lot of people.
Trainable. Competent is. That's a. You can be capable of doing something, but not competent in it. Because competency, for me, it dictates a certain level of. The definition of competency in itself is that you understand it to a certain extent, or I feel like it's almost undervalued as far as the definition goes, that people don't really, you know what I'm saying, like the when we say competent, it doesn't have the same value that the word really has. Like if you're competent in something, it means that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's almost become devalued in a way where it's like, well, he's competent. It's like, he's not the best, but he's not the worst.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, this person understands what they're doing and how to do it.
Like when I think about the word competent, I think about like, let's want to say if I need you to go and edge something, I can leave you at one part of the driveway, and by the time I get back, whatever the hell I'm doing, whether I'm on the mower or mulching or whatever else, it's going to be done by the time I get back.
Mm-hmm.
Well within time.
I shouldn't have to stand there and show you how to put gas in it and start it and run it. I shouldn't need to sit there and tell you not to hit the goddamn sprinkler heads.
Yeah.
I shouldn't need to tell you that not to run it straight through the grass.
Yeah.
If you're competent, I should be able to tell you this is what needs to be done. All right, so for me, someone being competent is the difference between me explaining what you need to do and how to do it, and me telling you what needs to be done, and you being able to go and do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Without any kind of additional direction or assistance aside from me telling you what needs to be done.
All right. Now, as far as like, I feel like the difference between all these side hustles is a lot of it is like I used to do like Postmates and other things like that, Uber Eats or whatever, and all I'm doing is just picking up things, going places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really. I'm kind of like basically a cog in the machine.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're
really
an employee at that point because
exactly.
the system's already in place.
Exactly.
It itself is a business. You're just inserting yourself into it.
Yeah. So I feel like a step above that is, let's go say if you're in, real estate or even in that, is taking the point of like the difference between a real estate agent and a real estate broker.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a lot of people, they get into these type of things because they don't want anybody to tell them what to do. They just want to go out there and get theirs. They don't necessarily. Most people, they don't really want to teach other people. They just want to go out there and get their money.
I was going to say the difference for me between a broker and an agent in real estate is the agent is out to make their money. The broker is out to make sure they get their money, but they're also making sure that all their agents are making money.
Yeah.
So it's not just them; it's they're ensuring everybody's getting theirs.
Yeah.
I mean, and for those of you that don't know, real estate agent obviously is the one that sells the house.
Yeah.
The broker is the one that runs the agent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I guess it's the broker is the license the agent runs off of, or the agent has their own license.
No, so you have to. So because I work with a lot of real estate agents, you can. So basically, I'll give you an example. I know a guy that works at Keller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you get your real estate license, you hang your license with Keller. Then let's go and say
Keller's the broker.
Keller's the broker.
Okay, so you can't just operate as a real estate agent by yourself.
No, you actually have to get a broker's license.
Okay,
so because you got to figure whoever's office you're working out of, then that they would get a piece. So if you sell 10 houses or however many houses, they're always going to get a piece, including whatever houses they sell on the side. So you have a lot of people that I want pretty much all my money. Mm-hmm. So they'll go out there and get their broker's license, and then basically now you can have your own imprint to where now any agents you put under you, it's the same thing. But it's a whole nother test, and a lot of people just like, okay, well, I'm getting my 3%. So, I mean, all you got to do is collectively sell $3 million in real estate. That could take a whole year. That could take 3 months. You make 90K.
I mean, that could take a month.
Depending.
That could take a week if you're good.
Yeah, and it's just not, a shot to any real estate agents, but you have a lot of real estate agents that you've seen a lot of $1 million those shows or whatever. Mm-hmm. So even before everything like closed down, I would say agents are really good to party with. Really good to party with. But it's a more social thing. It's I'm a real estate agent. I think that's the funniest thing when you think about real estate other than anything else. If you tell somebody you're a real estate agent, it's like, oh, that's great. If you tell somebody you sell cars, it's kind of, If you tell somebody you're life insurance or anything else.
Highest paying industry at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the funny thing about it is, because like, if I threw a rock anywhere across Glen St. Mary or anywhere in this area, I could hit a real estate agent, mm-hmm. even in car sales, right? But it's something about it's just certain stigmas. It's marketing. Like people like, you're selling a car, like, you're selling a physical product, you're making money, things like that. The same thing with a house. And unfortunately, when you're in the life insurance or even the financial industry, selling something that is not tangible is sometimes, it can be difficult, but especially when you're dealing with certain touchy subjects, they just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when people try to sometimes demonize it or even like try to make it better than anything else. I'm like, car sales, real estate, and like life insurance or finance is the same fucking thing. It's just depending on what you do, it's just higher margins.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's all sales.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing with sales is selling yourself, and it's because
yeah.
Realistically, you're doesn't matter what the product is, you got to convince them. I mean, you're selling yourself to them, and that's what it comes down to.
I mean, but like, I can go back to your point as far as there's times where like on the opposite side, I think about it's like I could just get a role. Like, if I really went out and tried to actually apply for a job with all my experience, I could probably get something. If I really want to, making really good money. But I'm like, and then, having my, my 2 or 3 vacations, having a life to where now I could ultimately go and buy a house, even if I wanted to go and do something on the side. And I'm like, I could do that. But it's just figuring out what you want. Because, I mean...
Well,
this...
Another part of that is that we're 30. We're not even getting started. We're not even close. We're just getting started. Let's be honest. We're just getting started.
I think the funniest thing, you have so many people that are like, in their like early 20s, 25, and like feel like life is over already. And I'm like, and
it's like, no, you're set up and you've built the foundation for something. If you're 95, you're getting borderline there where you're pretty much done at 95. Yeah. Let's be honest. But 30, 40, 50, 60, 70.
It only takes a good 5-10 years to be like, all right, let me just grind for 5 years. Like, it's...
But even that, let's be honest, where we're at now, it may take 5 years.
Yeah.
But at 50, the accumulation of everything, it could turn around and take 6 months to do the same thing it would take you 5 years at 30.
Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping you from saying, I've got my outline. I know what I'm doing with this.
Yeah.
Picking up that job and put money away, and then when it kicks out to a better opportunity, you're already out of the gate sprinting.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the times I like the generation coming up, even our generation, as far as how we've adapted social media, but also you have a lot of because I mean you should have heard like imposter syndrome, right?
Uh-huh.
And you have a lot of and you have a lot of people. You're looking at everybody else. You're just looking at finished products, and you don't know. Like, especially now, so I'm just speaking to you, make it where you have the 25 to 25-year-old millionaires, whatever the case may be, and well, if I would have only gotten into it sooner, like, what is it that you want? Like anybody, what do you actually want? Not what you see others. Like, it is probably one of the biggest things when I see these like socialists or liberals on my thing, and I'm like, what do you want out of life? if you want a minimalist lifestyle, if you want this, figure out how much money you need to make, and then that's it.
I'll be honest, a lot of people in that situation don't even know what they want. Because they've spent so much time being told what they want.
I guess lied to. Well, told I was supposed to get this when I did X, Y, Z, but now it's not here. Or in the way I thought it was going to be.
A lot of people, especially in our generation, were lied to. We were told, graduate high school, go to college, spend 6 figures on college education, and you'll be set for life. Except at no point ever were they told how to manage their own finances.
No.
And let's be honest, no college, I would say maybe 1 in 20 college students, when picking what their degree is going to be, will actually investigate that, whatever that degree will resolve into as far as a career, and see what the monetary value of that is, what the growth opportunity there is, and realistically what that degree will get them later in life. And then you're just I'll just get a 4-year degree and I'll be fine.
Yeah, some because there's a lot of jobs where as long as you have a 4-year degree, you can kind of transition to that aren't degree specific. Mm-hmm. But then you have a lot of people that literally, I became a lawyer to make money, or I got into finance, or I got into all these different things because I grew up with, that's what I was told. Because I don't want to be in a spot to where they've seen what their parents went through, what people in their lives went through, and they're like, I don't want that to be my life. I don't want to work in a factory. I don't want to be, scraping pennies together, or, barely having a roof over my head, but not really realizing when it comes down to it what that actually entails. What do you actually need? What do you actually want?
I think everybody just wants growth. They want to know.
Someone faster than others.
Well, they want to look back a week, a month, a year, 5 years, and know that they've excelled further than they were at that time. Some people are perfectly fine sitting doing the same goddamn thing day in, day out.
I think the worst thing is you have those people that they want to look back and they're like, and they just complain. I can't stick.
Yeah, you've been doing the same shit for how long, and then you want to bitch and complain about you don't got this, you don't got that, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yeah, because you're sitting there running in place, not doing anything.
And then what's the worst thing about it is where you have like opportunities in life where people are like, okay, like, come and do this with me, or come do this with me, or I know you don't see what I see, and you have one friend that goes left, another one that goes right, and then the person that left, that went left, it exploded, and now you're looking so envious to where it's not even the friend on the left even throwing it in your face. You're just so envious
it's your
that
own shit that is just
that you're just like you didn't see the vision. Like what was it? That movie came out a while ago with Ben Stiller and Jack Black, Envy.
The Vaporize.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And like,
I forgot about that movie.
And the craziest thing was like, you didn't believe in your friend.
And then his boy comes in after making it. It's like, make it with me. And then
he just can't. His pride just won't.
Eventually he gave in and was like, yeah, let's do this. But like,
after all those like mishaps and killing the horse and all that, like it was like.
Well, he didn't do that.
Oh,
it was the. Spoiler alert! If you ain't seen this movie, it's old as fuck. But
yeah, it is.
The Vaporize would basically make the poop just disappear. You wouldn't have to clean up the poop. You wouldn't have to pick it up, whatever. You would spray this aerosol, whatever stuff on it, these chemicals, and it would just dissolve into the air.
Okay.
Well, it was turning it into basically a poisonous gas that ended up killing the horse. Dude thought he hit a golf ball or whatever and killed it. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Was the horse named Corky?
Probably. But I mean, there's so many stories of that in like real life to where I mean, you know, you have like on the other side of the spectrum where it's like people want to rub it in your face and things like that, and then I think
some people do get spiteful.
Exactly.
But a lot.
But then like
some of that will usually grows out of being told you can't do it. Why are you even bothering? And you're not going to make it. And some people get spiteful and come back and say, "Well, look at me now, motherfucker." Which they're realistically are perfectly entitled to do that, to say that. They got every right to do it.
But then I think what's the worst thing is where the person is where like the guy like Jack Black, like where he was just so calm and humble about it, because what the thing about it is they like Ben Stiller's character is if he would have created it, he wouldn't have been like that. He would have been all boisterous and things like that. And almost the fact that why aren't you just everybody that told you, you know, you wouldn't amount to everything, like why aren't you shoving it in people's face? Why are you not?
I mean, at the end of the day, that's not what was important to him.
Yeah. Like, money, at the end of the day, it just buys you options. Like, after you get a certain amount of money, you buy all the things.
I was going to say, I think it's like a cumulative, like 70, somewhere between 60 and 70 grand a year. Anything more doesn't make any kind of significant improvement to your life.
No. I mean, at that point, I was going to say you start making, like, from 70, you start making 100, 200, and it gets to the point where you've invested a lot of it in, like, different investments, savings, things like that. The only thing is, like, buying experiences, going on trips, food, like, restaurants, and then just material things. Other than that, it's like you get to the point where I bought everything. I've had a good time, and then it's just like, okay, cool. Like,
well, I mean, between me and her, we make just under 6 figures, and it's to the point where there's no longer
it's not survivable.
Yeah, it's not an urgency. Like, I can pretty much, I'm comfortable to where I can do pretty much whatever I want to an extent. Certain shit hits harder than others,
of course. Or it might you might have to like
really, like on a Friday night, we could go to Fogo de Chao and spend $300 on dinner.
Yeah,
that shit's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
it's gonna take a chunk out of my savings, but it's like I can do it if I want to, whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that shit's overrated. It's good, but that shit's overrated.
I haven't been yet, but I want to go at least once because I keep hearing about it, and like, you know, they say like it's. I want to go there, and I want to go to that Texas.
Texas de Brazil.
Yeah, near Hooters. No. I was in Town Center. There's
because
it's not Texas de Brazil, but it is a Brazilian steakhouse.
Well,
I forget what that it's called, but it's near Hooters and it's near the Wing Cafe.
I'm pretty sure that's Fogo de Chao.
No. It's not in
It's
Town
over
Center.
by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah. No. You just mentioned all of Town Center. There's like Tinseltown.
Okay.
Yeah. So
No, that is Texas de Brazil. Which it's basically the same format as.
I thought there was a. I thought there was like a.
We're gonna look this up right now.
Because I know what you're saying. There's like a Brazilian steakhouse, but then there's another one like near the movie theater, near the Regal, and then
Terra Gaucha.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was talking about.
Terra Gaucha and Texas de Brazil are the same format as Fogo de Chao.
Oh, okay.
Less money.
Okay.
Fogo de Chao, you're paying for that name. You're paying for that valet. You're paying for that.
I had no idea it was a name until I started hearing it.
Yeah, it's for sure a chain, but it's like, bro, you sit down at the table. I mean, it's they come in. You got a little coaster on your table.
Okay.
Where it's green on one side, red on the other. And depending on what side is facing up, if it's green, because they legit just, because there's a giant like side salad appetizer area where you go get whatever you want.
Okay. So they're just giving you all the meats, basically.
It's like anywhere from like 9+ different cuts of meat that they come out and they just. You get little tongs that they'll cut a slit in it, you grab it, and then they slice off the rest. And then you just tell them how much you want. And as long as that shit is face up green, they're not gonna stop coming.
Oh damn.
The waiter told me that he's like, when you want them to stop, you flip it over to the red side and they'll bypass your table. And I'm like, huh, you're funny. That ain't happening. Fuck was I wrong? Cause they take that shit seriously, like. Like dudes are coming every 2 minutes.
You're like
they literally walk table till that meat's done on the rack, and then they go back and get another one. Okay. So they're continuously just circling the dining room until that shit's done, and then they go back and get another one. I think they do like 2 or 3 rotations, and they get a break.
Okay, I'm just
but
cause I've heard of it, and I'm like, is it really like? Cause I've never heard anything bad about Fogo de Chao.
All right, so we got there and we went up to the little side thing first. There were probably like a dozen or so different sides, different vegetables.
Okay.
Asparagus was some of the best I've had.
Okay.
I'll give them that.
Okay.
Every single cut of meat I had was amazing. They kept bringing different. They would go around with these random little special appetizers and little side things like fried polenta and
that sounds good.
all these little tiny things. They were like, you want to try one of these? And they'd drop it on your plate. And we spent probably 2 hours eating. I went all out. We got the bucket with the champagne.
That's good.
It was for a birthday.
Oh, nice.
We got the bucket, the ice bucket next to the table, and it was like
you probably slept good as hell.
We had like I had called beforehand, so they separated the table a little bit from like everybody. Like there was more space than between the rest of the table, so it kind of set us out a little bit.
Okay.
And
nice.
Got the bottle of champagne, got a bottle of wine. Ended up eating for about 2 hours. We got killer desserts, and then ended it with she got I forget what the drink she got. She got some frou-frou cocktail or whatever that was killer. I tried it, and I finished it with a glass of Glenlivet Scott.
What year?
Bro, I don't even know. I was so bro. I was fucked from that because I was drinking. I was drinking whiskey on the rocks. I had like 3 of them.
Okay.
Was
that before the food or just
throughout the meal? And then I had a little bit of water, and then we were having the champagne, and then I finished it with the glass of Glenlivet. That shit was like $45 for a double.
Oh my god!
The smoothest liquor I've ever had. It was like the perfect cap to the night, and like $360 later.
Okay. Not bad for like what?
That shit hurt. That shit hurt. That was when I was working at All Service, bro.
Oh my god!
Yo, that was the whole check. No, it wasn't the whole check. that was like 60% of my check, and I'm like,
God, man,
like, it was worth it though.
Okay.
I have not been back since,
yeah.
But
it's fine. I saw some All Service trucks. You know, I haven't been in town in Arlington because I forgot.
I'm always keeping an eye out for them, but I forget that there's only like 5 or 6 of them running right now. Might be less. I think there's only like 4 or 5.
Huh.
But every now and again, I'm out the window like an asshole, waving and shit, and fucking being all extra and just fucking. But the either Texas Day Brazil or Terra Gaucha. I want to try Terra Gaucha because a boy at one of my boys, DJ, told me about it, and that man, as when it comes to food,
there's a lot of good ass places around the city.
Well, no, when it comes to food, I trust him explicitly because everything that like he's you talk about people are can cook and like my man's a legit chef.
Okay.
Doesn't do it as a career, makes it as a hobby, which makes it that much better because he puts all that love and energy into it.
Yeah.
And like that shit comes throughout the food. It doesn't matter if he's making I'm talking like lentils with pork belly in it. Some basic little side dish that's like just slams like nothing I've ever had. Like I didn't know lentils could taste that good. Like every time I'd be at his crib, he's just cooking up some kind of ridiculous shit, and he actually turned me on to basmati rice, the Indian rice.
Is it good?
Oh yeah, it takes a little longer to cook because you gotta wash it and everything, and go through all that. But the flavor is so much better. But like going from white rice to basmati rice is 2 different worlds. But he told me about Terra Gaucha, so I want to go.
Yeah, because I haven't.
We might have to hit that up this weekend.
Okay.
I'll think.
Because
we might have to hit that up this weekend.
Because there's been a lot of spots like I'm not really big because I mean you know I do want to try like there's a couple places like downtown I want like I haven't been to Chop House yet. I did want to try Charter House. I didn't realize that was a chain until
no disrespect to Chart House and the cooks in there because y'all do your thing.
Okay.
The food is amazing, but that shit is overpriced. There are way better seafood spots. I mean,
okay, so it's like primary seafood.
Chart House is.
Okay, I had no idea.
It's one of their specialties. They have other things, but like they're right there on the river, and you got the whole thing is just all windows. You see the whole riverfront, the bridges, all the stuff that lights up. Shit's overpriced.
Yeah, like I've never been.
If I'm paying for something overpriced, I'm going to Ruth Chris.
I've actually never been to Ruth Chris. My roommate.
That shit made Fogo de Chao see me.
He got
cheap.
He fucking whether Grubhub I think he Uber Eats a fucking steak. I'm like,
bro, it was like $36 for an appetizer that was like 8 shrimp.
What the fuck?
Now, I'll tell you, I licked that goddamn plate because that sauce was higher.
I've heard things.
Ruth Chris is the type of fancy where each waiter's got a crumb scraper.
What?
A crumb scraper, little metal thing that they after you're done eating each course or whatever, or every time they come to the table, doesn't matter what point they come, they scrape all the crumbs off the table into their little apron pocket to clear the table for you.
Wow. type of rich?
That's some extra shit I wasn't ready for.
What type of rich people shit is that?
This dude broke that out and he went scrape. Can I get you anything else? Are y'all good for now? Okay, I'll be back in about a couple minutes. Just heavy on the bread. Came back repeatedly. But this loaf dropped it on a wooden plank with a knife in it. That was the best steak I've ever had.
Ever, Chris? Is there a Benihana around here?
I don't think there's a Benihana, but I think there are places like a Benihana, just not the name.
Yeah.
Actually, what's the place over in Town Center? Steakhouse over there.
I know what you're talking. It's near the Wendy's, right?
No, it's over by the mall. Over by the Apple Store. It is.
Jay. Is it Jay Alexander? Fuck. True Kitchen?
Hang on. I mean, you will fuck around and spend $500.
I had no idea, like, especially like Town Center, like, there's a, like, if you want to impress a girl, like, there's a lot of restaurants you can just go to and, like, there's not Wine Bar, but there's one near
Capital Grill.
I've heard good things about it. I've never been though. But I hear the food is like amazing.
If you go, I was talking to a dude. He went. They would do like their annual Christmas party there. Mm-hmm. Anywhere from 4 to 6 of the managers for the restaurant he's working at. Okay. Fuck around, spend $2,000.
Jesus! Oh my god!
But like, they're realistically they're like pop bottles. Not to say pop bottles, but like killer wine selections. They're all getting fat cuts. I mean, basically let it down to the one manager would pick the appetizers for everybody. One would pick the entrees. One would pick the desserts. One would pick the wine, whatever, and fuck around, spend $2-3 grand. But granted, you're talking about people that are making multiple 6-figure incomes. Yeah. So,
I mean, there's a matter of fact, the next time you take her out, there's a little there's a hidden spot down in Riverside. Riverside Liquors.
Riverside Liquors.
It is a liquor store, but when you go in, it's basically like it's a little sit-down joint. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I know that is one of the chefs that used to work over at River City, when he left there, he went there, and he actually runs the kitchen in there. But I was going in there like it's a little like it's basically like it's hidden, because if you wouldn't know any better, it'd be like your typical liquor store you walk into. You walk a little bit past the where all the bottles are and shit, and then they got the little bar, little restaurant, little thing. Dope. And it's on King Street. Yeah, so it's on King Street.
I'm looking at the menu right now.
Yeah.
Garden. Okay, so they got salads, appetizers, and entrees. Damn. Price ain't bad either.
Yeah. So we're about to wrap up the segment of that, but I know you were saying that every time you think about opening up a business, I want to go back to that. That you kind of...
It's going to happen. Right now, it's not the right time. Yeah. I mean, I've got my foundation set, but I need to start putting some walls up. Yeah. I need to start insulating things.
I mean, it would be different if, like, I was going to say you got the house by yourself. Mm-hmm. It'd be a little bit different. Like, you already have, like, you have your foundation, like, have a family that you're in the midst of, like, going to be starting soon. So,
well, it's realistically, I'm trying to narrow down really what I want to do because I'm doing all kinds of little shit. Like that's what the chickens kind of were because, I didn't need to get 12 chickens because I'm gonna fuck around and have if they all lay the way I'm expecting them to, I'm gonna fuck around and have a dozen eggs a day.
Okay. They're almost at maturity, right?
They got another 8-9 weeks before they're expected to start laying because they're about halfway to full grown.
Are all? Do you know? Most of them are female, right? Or you still don't know?
It's so hard to tell because you can have indicators of roosters and it still be a hen, or indicators of a hen. Well, no, the indicators of a rooster are pretty significant, distinct. But you can still have indicators of a rooster and it still be a hen.
Okay.
Right now, I'm looking at 12 hens until one of them starts crowing.
Okay.
But even that, if there's no rooster, a female will assert herself as the rooster, which is kind of wild in itself. But I had the idea because I've been looking into like a lot of the supply chain shortages stuff and all the stuff that like it's probably not going to be. It's going to be having hard times getting for the holidays.
I mean, like realistically, they have a very short window to get this shit together because you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas around, and I think you were telling me how that the fourth quarter is where they kind of recoup. Mm-hmm. So if they don't make this shit happen,
it's simple little shit like pumpkin, and I'm not talking about like the ones you go at the pumpkin patch, pick and carve, like the canned pumpkin, the
filling,
the farm stuff,
okay,
where it's used specifically for that stuff is going to be in short supply.
Yeah,
turkeys, which had me thinking like
I never even thought about that. I never even thought that would even be in short supply demand, but
it's
like how far are these turkeys coming from too?
It's not even necessarily the turkeys in themselves; it's the people after the fact that process them.
Okay, so like,
it's not just all the supply of the specific of the animal itself; it's the people in the supply chain. Going from the farm to getting it to that freezer where you pick it up and get it.
And it starts making me think how far is this stuff coming from? Because what is starting to, because I thought certain things of course are national, but I thought a lot of the meats, even the vegetables for the most part would be regional, and if that's not the case, that's not a good thing.
It's not the case.
That's and
we're
I feel like it's unfortunately it's for the bottom the fucking dollar, which is it's dumb.
Well, and it's what had me thinking if turkeys are going to be in short supply, if I can raise chickens, why can't I raise turkeys, process them for people for Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
charge a certain amount per pound, have them put down a deposit to pay for a certain amount of feed, and to lock in that this is going to be your bird.
Yeah.
And then I started looking into suppliers, the time it takes for them to get to maturity. It takes about 6 months for them to get to the size that you want them to be for a general Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm legitimately looking at getting a bunch of turkeys and raising them next year and processing them and selling them for Thanksgiving. And a lot of people around here are I just kind of dipped my toe in to see what kind of interest it was. It's fucking ridiculous how many people said we want it. If you're serious about doing this, we'll give you the deposit. We want the bird.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of honestly how many am I really looking to do?
Yeah.
But
what I would be because even are there any butcher shops or anything around this area?
There are. I mean, realistically, I would process them myself.
Okay. Okay, but I'm just kind of curious what's around this area.
No, there's a lot. There's a lot of them in. There's one actually not far from here, like 10-minute drive.
Okay.
And I mean, there's a dozen or more in Jacksonville.
Okay.
A lot of them don't process wild game anymore because
at
least in Duval,
you
can't sell it in Duval. And
can you sell it at Baker?
I don't know. I haven't checked the local ordinances, but you can't sell deer meat.
That doesn't even make any sense. I know you were telling me that.
Well, it's they don't want to incentivize it to the point where they start,
I guess,
going out and because you'll fuck around and decimate a population.
Okay.
And it's because the deer around here, especially because of how extensive the hunting community is around here.
Okay, so are they almost hunting them into extinction already?
Well, no, it's that there's so many people hunting on a regular basis throughout the season, each season, that the deer don't have the ability to get to
maturity.
If you take the same age deer from this area in Florida, from where we were from in South Jersey, the difference in size, you're talking anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They're just
almost an entire other animal added on.
Oh my god.
Because there's just that many more people that the animals don't have the chance to get that big. And the ones that do, realistically, when you're hunting a deer for meat, you want a young one. You want, they call them yearlings. You want a younger one because the meat's tender. Because if you, the ones they call trophy bucks, the older ones with the giant antlers, they're not good for eating because they're old, the meat's worn out.
Okay.
It's just not worth it. You want a younger deer.
Well, I feel like too, I mean that, but also if you got an older one that's actually been able to outlive, the anxiety in that goddamn deer it's going to turn the meat to
Well, it's if you see animals like that, you will see once. And if you miss that shot, you will probably never see that animal again, especially if they get wind of you. Because it's to be able to get that age on
as
on
a deer.
Animal, yeah,
I mean, you gotta be paranoid as all hell.
Yeah, you have basically you're running at the slightest sound of whatever.
That's not even a life I would want to live. God damn.
And it's you can't raise them commercially.
You can't raise them commercially.
No,
it's not going to turn out right.
They're classified as wild animals, and you.
It's not like you basically raising like a pig and then slaughtering it.
Which is funny. I'll show you a picture. I was up on a roof today, and I looked in the neighbor's yard, and there's a pig in the backyard.
Is it supposed to be there?
No. It's like a residential neighborhood on Beach Boulevard. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what probably happened. Because we were up on the roof and a car pulls up, old beater, Honda. 3 girls came out. They were, I don't know, mid-20s, something like that. One of them probably bought a, air quotes, teacup piglet, which aren't a thing. Which people don't fucking understand that.
Oh, so
6 months down the road of getting this miniature pig that's supposed to be this big turns into a fucking 100-pound sow, and you don't know what the fuck to do with it. Which I'm pretty sure is exactly what happened with this pig. So now it's just roaming around, tearing up their backyard. And once it's finished in the backyard, it's going to find its way out of that vinyl fence, and either disappear into the neighborhood. Become some kind of urban legend fucking monster pig, Bigfoot pig, or someone's gonna pick that shit up and take it to a butcher.
Yeah.
But there is that's just the turkeys is just kind of one of the things. With the chickens, I got a half dozen people at work that are ready to buy them, the eggs.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm first come. If you want any, you're obviously first come, first
No,
serve.
of course.
Anything after the fact.
So, are those eggs better than the ones you buy in the store?
Bro, there's no comparison.
Okay.
There's no comparison between the eggs you buy at the store and ones that you're...
Okay, so is that... Because, I mean, because I'm always curious about, like, the eggs, even the milk, to where what made us stop doing it that way?
Ease.
I guess convenience?
Convenience, yeah. People, at a certain point, people got separated from the basic
the
kind
farm.
of shit like that. Yeah. I just fucking bought like 30,000 seeds.
Okay.
Heirloom seeds that it's like 70 different fruits and vegetables. I got a whole nother kit that's nothing but culinary and medicinal herbs. I'm gonna be building a fucking greenhouse back there and seeing what I can grow.
Are you gonna start dealing with like hydroponics and stuff like that?
I don't know if I might get to that point if I start doing well enough with it. But I'm gonna start off with like cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, little corn, and just see what happens.
Okay.
And I mean, it cost me. I got a 5-pack of. Because each individual package comes with like 16,500 seeds of different variations of like 40 different stuff.
Yeah.
Ended up buying the 5-pack of those, and then it came with the kit with the culinary medicinal herbs. And the total, it was like $150, which I'm splitting with my parents. They're getting 2, I'm getting 2, and then I'm gonna give the 5th one to my sister. See if she wants to try them out.
Okay.
I bought them because it was something my mom had found on Facebook or whatever. She was sending it to Kevin to see if he wanted to buy them, and I wanted to try them out because they're non-GMO. They're not tied to Monsanto.
Okay.
Like you go to Walmart or anything, those seeds, they're all GMO seeds.
Okay.
I mean, they're
because I'm always kind of curious to be. How do we get back to, like, knowing what's in our food, having it actually real? And I feel like
doing it. I want to be able to wake up in the morning, go outside, grab an egg, grab a pepper, grab a couple of things out of my garden, chop everything up, and just make an omelet, and eat my breakfast out of entirely things that have been grown and raised by my own hand.
Right. You get to the point where the only one thing I want to go, I wouldn't even say necessarily the store, but go to the butcher is like, all right, I just want meat. And
well, even that, like, there's plenty of people around here. Because in Baker County, you can raise 1 head of cattle per acre.
Oh.
So, like, my parents almost have 2 acres. It's just under 2 acres on the A&M Road property.
Okay.
So they can get, realistically, they can put a cow in that yard and raise it and then butcher it.
Okay. Now.
And you're talking anywhere from, after it's processed, 300 to 400 pounds of meat.
What?
Maybe more.
Jeez.
Depending on how big the animal gets.
Okay. With that, would you want to just buy a cow that's already like maturity, or do you want to like is it the best thing to raise it or kind of be in that transitional stage?
There is, you want to get it to a certain maturity.
Okay.
But like, even if I go buy it from somebody, they're going to be raising the animal to that certain maturity level, and then they're going to be butchering it, processing it, and then giving me the meat.
Okay. Yeah,
versus me doing it and then taking the animal somewhere to get processed.
Because my only thing about that is too, where it's like, okay, like even like, the pig, you're telling me on the beach, or this is like, what is the cow eating? Is it a GMO cow? Is it GMO pig?
You're not gonna have. Well, GMO is just genetically modified organisms. So not all GMOs are bad.
Okay.
All modern day bananas are GMOs.
No.
Because an organic banana, the entire center of it is nothing but little black seeds. They're essentially inedible if you were to eat it the normal way you would eat a banana.
Oh.
So if you look at it, if you peel a banana and you split it open, you'll see little in the center. It's kind of got like a black hue to it.
Yeah.
On an organic banana, that is nothing but little hard seeds
Can you use that to grow other bananas?
Yeah, you can, but I mean, you're not going to eat it the way you would normally eat. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be spitting out a million seeds. Yeah. You could cut it up and kind of core it for the most part, but GMO, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that we've genetically modified this organism to benefit us in some way. Okay. Whether it grows faster, it's more appealing, it's sweeter, it tastes better. But with that trade-off, you get certain aspects to it that can be negative. Okay. Whereas,
I mean, especially with people, because
well, it's just some people are misinformed and they don't really understand it, and they're like, "Well, I want natural. I don't want anything that's been messed with." And it's like, well, I mean, it's been messed with for your benefit. I don't know what you're bitching about.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, also, like, you know, people like making sure that you don't have any like pesticides or anything like that. Because I definitely remember there was they probably sell it, but there used to be like an actual vegetable wash. Mm-hmm. I used to see it or whatever. You just like,
well, if you buy like apples from the store, they have a coating of wax around them. Yeah. So if you don't wash that apple before you eat it, you're ingesting that wax, which can have any number of
depending on what the hell's on the wax or anything like that.
Whatever they've used. Well, that comes on it so it doesn't become an issue. But it's like, just kind of wash it off. But it's, with COVID and everything, it showed me just how easily our system can fail if it comes down to it. Yeah. It's not like at the drop of a hat, the system's just going to shut down and everything will fall apart. But like how easily it could, it made me want to not be as dependent on, like, if the supermarket, the supply chain's shut down, the supermarket's only stocked with enough food for about 3 days' time.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah. And then there's because
like the distribution centers and like the freezer warehouses or whatever, they're good for about a week.
Yeah, there's one, like, if I'm like on my way from basically the city coming down here, there's one, the Winn-Dixie one.
Well, there's the big Winn-Dixie one, and there's also the Publix one on the side of 10.
Oh, and then there's the like the distribution center for, I guess, Southeastern Grocers on Providence, or South Side. I was talking. I don't really know how this came up at the dog park, but your guy was saying that we are 12 meals away from killing each other.
Yes, and that's not a joke. That's very disheartening. That's why I got chickens, because I'll have a steady source of protein. That's why I'm trying to do the vegetable garden so that I can. I'm trying to be as least dependent on other people as possible.
The only the really unfortunate thing is if that supply chain does go down, the first place, and then let's say everything is taken from the grocery stores. Next place people are going is the farms.
Yes, and that's where the Second Amendment comes in.
Yeah.
I wish you would come to my house and try to take my chickens. And that's why I spent the extra money and got the welded fucking the pen with the welded wire versus just the general chain link.
You just have, unfortunately,
padlock on that bitch.
Unfortunately, when stuff like that happens, you just the worst of humanity comes out in a lot of us, and it's just it's so sad. But
it's survivability. It's realistically, I'm not gonna fault someone for choosing to try to feed their children.
Okay.
But if it comes to that point, signs will be posted on my property that you don't necessarily have to pay me, but we're gonna work out some kind of barter to where either like I'll give you a dozen 18 eggs, you're gonna provide me with a service.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna help me plant something, you're gonna help me do this, you're gonna do something for me, or you're gonna give me something that's a value that I deem a value to make that trade. Otherwise, if you come on my property without my permission and try to take my things, it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah.
But at that same time, if somebody comes to me and says, "Look, say the economy completely falls apart, and it's basically every man for himself." If somebody comes to me and says, "Look, I got 6 kids. I don't have any food. I don't have anything to give you. Can you help me?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna help me.
Yeah.
You're gonna either help me plant that. You're gonna help me do this. You're gonna help me do that." And you're going to earn that, and I have no problem with that, but you aren't taking nothing from me.
Yeah. I think the thing what I hate about those like post-apocalyptic films or it's you always see the everything is good and then it always flash forwards to like now you're in the shit, and it never goes to it's many shows they made about
the transition of it.
Fear
the Walking Dead did that.
Okay.
Fear the Walking Dead started before the outbreak.
Okay.
The initial everybody started changing and it was like, this is weird, what's happening? People are attacking people.
Okay.
And then things collapsing and then it coming into basically where the other show started, where everything is already collapsed and everybody's trying to figure everything out.
Alright, okay. Because I heard good things about that one.
Well, and that's another reason I wanted to get the fuck out of the city. I moved out here because majority of the people out here, I'm not gonna have to worry about that because they are already of the mentality of taking care of themselves.
Yeah. You have a lot of the city people. The city people.
I call me yuppies.
Yuppies.
And it's the people that come out here, they're the ones that order the groceries from Kroger with the fucking delivery truck, and it's you moved out here because you didn't want to live in the city, but you don't necessarily know what it means to actually be responsible and take care of yourself.
No, you want the country lifestyle. You want the country scenery without having the country lifestyle.
Well, it's fucking across the street, 3 houses down, they got a giant, 10 by 30 little plot in their front yard, 10 foot by 30 foot, where it's all tilled up, where they continually grow vegetables. They just finished up around the corn about a month ago.
Oh, damn.
I seen him out there the other day planting something. I don't know what he's planting this late in the season, but my plan is to put an enclosed greenhouse out there so I don't got to worry about what the temperature's like.
Yeah. So if you have an enclosed greenhouse, can you essentially just grow anything?
Yeah, as long as I got the correct soil.
Okay.
I gotta continually test the pH, make sure. I just need to know the conditions that whatever I'm growing need.
And then you can make it.
And then I can make
the conditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, all the greenhouse is doing is ensuring that the temperature is correct.
Okay.
And that it's not dropping down too low where the plant dies in the middle of the night. Because,
now, with the greenhouse, do you kind of have to essentially, I guess if certain vegetables are around the same environment, then I guess you can grow them all at once. But do you have to do them one at a time, essentially?
I can do them in different pots.
Okay.
I'm only going to do maybe 5 or 6 things to just kind of get a general idea of
kind of like how it reacts and things like that.
Exactly.
And then once you kind of figure out, okay, cool, and then you can kind of tweak it.
I'm going to start off with the more temperate stuff, the stuff that can deal with a little bit extremes of its tolerances.
Okay.
To where it's not as sensitive. Like there's certain things like
let's see what cucumbers, right?
Well, like pumpkins. Take a pumpkin. They'll grow whatever. They'll grow.
Oh,
all you gotta do is throw them seeds in the ground. As long as they're viable, they'll fucking grow.
Okay, that and watermelon too.
Watermelon's a little tricky.
Okay.
You gotta worry about insects and stuff with that.
Okay.
But like in an enclosed environment that I'm gonna have in the greenhouse,
Yeah,
it's still gonna be a concern, but it's not gonna be as drastic.
Okay.
Which I did get watermelon seeds.
Because I remember even like there was one time I like was saving my watermelon seeds and like let them dry out and they start sprouting already.
It's gotta be the black ones. And
the black ones.
You gotta do the seeded watermelons for sure, because the seedless, which aren't actually seedless, they just pick them sooner.
Okay.
So that the seeds are underdeveloped.
Okay, so like they're so
like you'll get the little white seeds on the inside
okay, so when they're white, they're just not.
Yeah, seedless watermelons are just picked earlier than normal. Like it's the seeds don't get a chance to fully develop and harden up to the black ones that you're used to in a normal watermelon.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean realistically, any watermelon you buy at the store is going to be air quotes GMO.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I'm gonna try out all this different stuff. I got watermelons, pumpkins, two different types. I got like grape tomatoes, or like cherry tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, like we're used to, big ones. Corn, rhubarb, Swiss chard, collards.
I've heard of. Is that like a berry? Rhubarb.
I honestly,
because I've heard of like rhubarb pie, and I was like,
I want to say it's like a root, but I feel like it's like a mix between them. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out though.
All right. Okay.
Because like Kevin was super excited that rhubarb was in there, because my man loves some rhubarb pie.
Okay. Yeah. I just because what I want to start doing is even like I want to start cooking more. Just I realize like anything that we buy, especially whether it's from fast food site, it's like you get one use out of it, fuck it up in 5-10 minutes, and that's like, all right, I just spent $10, $15, $20. And I'm like, I don't know if it's even if you do the same thing after you cook it from scratch. It's just I feel like it's something better when it's from scratch.
I don't necessarily. It just feels better because you've put the effort into it versus it just heating it up or throwing it in the microwave.
Yeah, like
taking like base ingredients and turning it into a full meal and then just sitting there and enjoying it. It adds an additional value to it that's just not there with something that's pre-made.
Yeah, like even when I I started just kind of retooling everything. Like the only thing I have is I got 2 different types of cheeses. I got fucking quesadillas. I'm quesadilla'd out. I made quesadillas in every which type of fucking way. I got some potatoes so I could actually make like fries from scratch. And like Yankee baked potatoes, different things like that. I feel like it just hits. Well, it hits different because it's just
it's that value added for the fucking the energy you put in.
Because it feels like it's real. Like, cause I feel like I remember this was like when I had my apartment back where I was on a thing where I was like, if it came from a box, I wasn't getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't not even. I didn't make anything from a box for like a good year.
Bro, it's like,
and I'm
go ahead.
Yeah, and I was like, I remember the fucking last day I was on fucking my last day, which I was late like 30 minutes, but I fell asleep making the last fucking batch of wings because for whatever reason I stayed up super late. I mean, I made fucking mac and cheese from scratch. Mikey being fucking Mikey and shit. It's like I made like 3 different types of wings. Fucking, I got this mac and cheese recipe where I made like 2 fucking full trays. It asked for an onion, and I was like, I've never put an onion in mac and cheese. Couldn't even taste the shit. I put fucking panko on that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
I was gonna say I usually put a little bit of onion powder in mine.
Yeah, so like I drop it off. They're like, because it was like I put my 2 weeks in, and then it was like that weekend because like I ended up leaving. I got my ass out of there in a hurry. They're like, we ain't never seen nobody leave like you. It's like, it's like you made this shit. I was like, yeah, shit. I was so fucking tired. I fell asleep and I fucking burned like 3 or 4 fucking chicken wings. But yeah, I left that. That was the first time I ever. That shit fucking was fire. I was like, but yeah, I thought about that later. Like, I could have been a chef, but
hey man, ain't nothing stopping you.
Nah, it ain't never too late. Especially with this fucking ghost kitchen the ghost kitchen shit they have now around the city.
Well, I mean, I've kind of half-assed documented the growth of the chickens or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I've already priced out the GoPros and everything. I'm gonna start documenting building greenhouse, growing everything, and I'm gonna start. At a certain point, I want to start doing like little vlogs of me taking that stuff and cooking with it.
Yeah.
I want to do cucumbers and pickle them. Well, a bunch of different vegetables, and I want to pickle them and store them. Because the way I'm going, I'm going to be having more than I even know what to do with, and I'm going to be doling out what I can't use, and then just kind of preserving and saving what I can.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is just like documenting. Like I'm getting to the point now where especially with like TikTok and stuff like that, where people are very. I've noticed that they're not really. They don't really like the polished stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. They like more of especially I see different people making all these different types of videos and different content of what they're trying to do and
well, it's the reality of it, the real. People gravitate towards realness, and it's
yeah.
I kind of just I want to like, and it's not even so much for like the people watching it. It's
for you.
Yeah, it's for me to just kind of be able to go and look back and be like, yeah, that's when I built it, and then that's the first seed that I planted, and that's the first vegetable that I harvested off that plant, and
like even when I think about even like the videos, like because I downloaded mostly every one of them except for like the first one, and you kind of even with like how we were doing the podcast, like I listened to like the first. I haven't listened to like the first couple episodes in a while, but I can hear where it was very spotty, or I had to like cut it up 20 different fucking pieces.
Yeah. It got to the point where we would like run out of shit. We didn't even know. We would just turn the shit on and we wouldn't even know what we were talking about.
Yeah. And even now, it's like when we started, like basically, like earlier, like we had a couple different topics we were talking about, and what we went from.
We touched on one.
No,
not one.
We didn't. We just were just talking.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that. Honestly, I feel like this actually came out better than it would have been if we even talked about that stuff. Because it was just.
It was organic.
It wasn't just that. It was like these topics were more real to us than any of that other shit.
Yeah, that was just
like we were planning on talking about like Lori Lightfoot and the bullshit she's doing in Chicago and how all the police and shit are fighting her with the I don't know what they're called, the freedom flu, where it's like I don't want the vaccine, like
and then
like realistically, I don't.
And then I was gonna bring up fucking Jake Paul's gonna be fighting Tyson Fury's brother, and I'm like, I don't really give a fuck about that shit. And like I feel like you have a lot of people that with like anything that you're trying to do as far as content, you feel like you have to touch on these things that are going on in pop culture. It's like go off of what you know and what actually interests you. And I feel like you have so many different people that have higher platforms of talking about that shit just because of its relevance.
Yeah, and they're almost like the more I like thinking about it now, it kind of makes me feel shitty because it's almost like clout chasing, and it's like it's like I'm doing this just to like almost seem relevant, but it's like I don't know,
like even like I was thinking about even like when I called you like 9:30 at night, and I'm going through like.
I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
I hit the silence button.
That's all.
And no, I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
I've got her into My Hero Academia. We're almost through season 1. We just finished the episode where the League of Villains attacked the USJ.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
So she just I told her the other night that it wasn't that night, it was the night before, because we watched a couple episodes, and I said, look, we're going to sit down, we're going to watch the first 2 episodes. If you don't want to watch anymore, that's fine. Okay. She was hooked after the first one.
Okay.
She's like, this boy cries a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, like, when I started watching it...
Bro, it's the music for me.
Yeah, I like the music.
Music pumps me up.
It does. Because, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I kept hearing about this for like months, the new big 3, and I'm like, all right, like I'm not even in the Black Cobra. I just got into Jujutsu Kaisen, which I actually like the pace.
Jujutsu Kaisen, is it any good? Because
it's good. He's I was seeing different things because I'm trying to understand what's his motivation, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense now.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Watch that.
Is that the one with the old man that gets killed and he's into a kid?
No, that I've been watching. He's not an old man. He's like a shut-in or whatever. I've been watching that one. It's all right. It's all right.
Like no, I mean it's good, but
there's a lot in that genre where they reincarnate into whatever, and
that's
it's
real weird. I'm like, but like I feel like they've just been. Like, I don't know what it is in the last, like, couple years, but it's like, we're just gonna keep throwing fucking...
Throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks.
And I'm like, what the fuck? There was one that was, like, I heard about, and I was like, I'm not watching, the Redo Healer, whatever the hell that shit was. I was like...
know what that is.
I was like...
There's Black Clover is great.
Okay. I didn't get into Black Clover, but they're saying Black Clover, My Hero Academia, and either Jujutsu Kaisen or fucking Demon Slayer. Demon
Slayer. It starts off slow, but bro,
it's a slow burn. God
it is.
Damn.
You get to.
I'm literally at the. Like where I'm at was where you meet the guy with the boar, and then he breaks his mask. I'm probably gonna watch a couple episodes because you're like, all right, like it's not bad. Like
have they gone into the mansion yet?
This is after the mansion where he
So you've seen the boy do his lightning move?
Yes.
Thunder breathing.
He's seen it do it again, and I think because there was a clip, and I'm like. Boy, you need to get it together. I need to see you fucking fight a Link. I need you to fight a Link. You can't be. I'm sorry, but
the one with the spider where he goes
thunder
breathing sixfold.
Where he's like,
he's only able to do the one technique, but he's honed it to a precision where
you see, because you see that he got trained by his grandfather. So I'm like, I saw a clip of that, but
I don't think it's his grandfather. I think it's just
but like my only thing about it is I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like, why the fuck are you a demon? Because the only thing I can think about, even how he got through the entry exam, is he passed out. he passed out, and then he killed everybody until he saw a path and woke up and ran.
That's exactly what happened. My man conked himself out and killed some demons and then survived.
Yeah, but like it's a little slow, but I do like Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like the dude is like super OP in the beginning, and it's like, all right, like I'm trying to, and it's a simple story about why he's doing what he's doing. You have basically the teacher, which he's like dumb OP. His name's Gojo or something. I'm like, I kept seeing. I'm like, I didn't understand, like, cause I mean, you see all types of clips and things like that. I'm like, all right, the fight scenes are good in that.
Black Clover for sure. Check that out. Fire Force. I just started watching it. That one's good.
All right. There's one. What is this? Gotta High School or something like that. I don't know. There's so many.
I don't know. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is pretty good.
Okay.
There's no real conflict in it. Like where there's no
because he went from the I don't think the slime one, but the one where he was a shut-in today, he got killed, and now he's in a world with magic. I was like, okay, and he
gets reincarnated, but even as a baby, he has his adult recollection from his previous life, and he turns into some genius magician in that world or whatever. But it's all right. It's okay. I'm still kind of watching it. And
I was gonna pick up Baki, but Baki's just I wasn't a big the first one, Baki the Grappler, that I watched. This one, it's like all these motherfuckers are too muscular, and motherfuckers are they killing each other with fucking their bare hands.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's like
I'm
tried to one up the Grappler one, and then it's just they went a little too overboard with it. It's just extra for no reason.
It's a bit too much. Like
I like the kind of underdog aspect to it, where they had to come from behind. I got reincarnated as a slime. There's not really that. It's just he's OP as fuck the whole time.
Okay. I do. Sword Art Online, like the last one.
Alicization.
Alicization was actually alright.
I haven't finished that one.
It's good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't touch a fucking nerve gear after I almost got killed in real life by dude. I'm not touching anything virtual ever in my life ever fucking again.
I'll be honest, with that thought in the forefront of my mind, if I had the opportunity, I would put that shit right on my head.
Yeah, I think the one where he just didn't he remembered he was in the game, where he was like basically like a page or something, and it's like this motherfucker had like 20,000 hours of she's just like, you're a lot better than fight game visions.
If you're into the fan service stuff, how not to summon a demon lord is okay. It's basically a dude that again spent his entire life as a shut-in and played some kind of MMO as his character, and then
I think
gets summoned to a world where he is the character, and the whole world is
isn't there one where he's like he's kind of almost similar to like Sword Art Online, where he's mana and shit like that. One of them, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot. They're just different.
Yeah, I mean, fucking anything.
I mean, honestly, like.
I'm gonna try Rise of the Shield Hero, because I keep hearing people talk about that one, but like, I haven't gotten into it yet.
Because I was like surprised after the whole like, I remember like when we grew up, like that wasn't like that genre wasn't like dot hack sign shit like that.
I never got into that. I never got into it, and I knew about Sword Art Online previously, but like I never really got into it until like they put it on Netflix. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, like dot hack sign was
instantly hooked.
So like dot hack sign was basically it was kind of like a predecessor. It was like it was the same thing, but he couldn't log out.
Yeah, just the main character.
Main character couldn't log out, and then there was one that they like crucified him. That he tried to get out. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I just ones I kind of like. It's, I think I will maybe want to get an Oculus. Because I keep hearing.
I've been looking at them, bro. And some of the game sport and stuff they have.
Yeah.
The shit's ridiculous. Like the how seamless the stuff is, and like how integral it is with like you can take
some of it
like in one hand and you can flip another one and hit it with the other one and hit shit, and it's just we're getting close. We're so close. And
like I remember like you know what there was a movie, like, I'm talking about in the 90s. You might not remember this. Called Brain Scan. Edward Furlong. It was like
scanners.
No, not scanners. It's like Brain Scan. So it was like it was when you were like a serial killer, but you know how VR was fucking back then, where it was a demon. It was a demon. He put the game in, whatever. He played the game, and then what was happening in the game was happening in real life. And then like I think it went up to like 3 or 4 where he would not try to play the game, and then the demon would make him play the game. He ended up playing the game. He ended up killing his friend. He found his friend's fucking ear in the fucking freezer. Yeah, shit was crazy. Like even like the first time I ever seen VR was in First Kick.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And I'm like,
he's at the mall.
Yeah.
And he's like fucking trying to find him.
You know how crazy? Like that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
so
matter of fact, I remember I had like one of those like discounted ones that you got for like off of like a finger hut or something like that. I got for like a Christmas gift that was like VR.
Like $20.
Yeah, $20 or something.
It was like Ross or Walmart or something. And just you threw your phone in there and it barely worked.
Yeah. I remember they used to have like TV activated interactive mag where they had like you could be Spider-Man, and like even what is it? They had that shit in Batman Beyond. You remember that fucking? We're close. We are close. I feel like that's just so scary. Cause imagine you just can't get out. You're fucking stuck.
I mean, all right. So I would say in the next 10, 20 years.
I'll say 5.
I'm gonna be conservative and say 10, 20 years.
Because I feel like
probably 10. I'll give them 20, but we'll be at Sword Art Online level.
Yeah. The only thing about it is, it's...
We get to that point, that's going to be my retirement. Because I will buy the full rig, everything.
What is it? There's a movie that just came out with Maggie Q and Hugh Jackman called Reminisce, to where basically the world is like crumbling, so everybody goes on vacations back in the past. You know how that shit goes. And then they just kind of just your memories, which is like that's.
Well, look, I figure by the time that shit becomes mainstream and affordable, there's not much more I'm going to be able to do to contribute to society. I mean, aside from my family and people around me. And on my downtime, I'm going to be spending it in VR. Fucking doing whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And,
like, even was it, the whole, like, if we get nerve gear, we're probably not, like, probably have fucking skins. That's the only thing that worries me. That, like, when I saw Altered Carbon for the first time, I was just like, not, okay, so, I mean, it's nothing worse than you being, okay, sorry. If you're like a sex worker, right? And you're just doing whatever, right? But imagine getting paid to get murdered.
How much money? Guaranteed to come back? How much
money? That's just, like, was it when the dude, was it when, I had the daughter.
What are we talking about? We talking about $1,000? We talking about $100,000? We talking about $1 million? What are we talking about here? We talking about I never got to work the rest of my life? You murder me one time?
Yeah.
You murder me once a week?
I mean...
And I don't got to pay for shit?
I mean... Okay, yeah. But that's a... Like, what was it when, you know, he was getting tortured by the guy that was split in two? Like, the psychological shit, like, and I'm not really a very mental, like, I'm empathetic to the whole mental health. That brings a whole new set of issues.
Bro, to even get close to that point, we really have to understand we don't, like, at this point, we have no fucking idea what consciousness even is. Where it comes from, or realistically what determines it. Because there's nothing else on this planet that has consciousness to an extent that we do.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to compare it to aside from, like, dogs, dolphins, like other mammals, but like even then it's like we don't really know.
We don't know what they're thinking.
Exactly. We don't
like they
know
could see they could exactly see the world we see it, but we have no idea what they're thinking. Like,
well, we're the first that we know of animal on this planet that has even gotten to the level of speech. Our consciousness has reached a level where we have agreed that certain noises that come out of our faces mean certain things to each other. Not just that, we have different languages of sounds that come out of our face that mean different things.
The minute I hear animals start talking, like, on some, like,
planet about Buddy Tell Me Your Secrets?
Nah, I'm not worried about that. I'm on some fucking Planet of the Apes. Caesar, no.
I mean, bro, chimps are the next closest aside from.
I didn't see the last one, but just.
I was gonna say it was 2017.
2017, 2018.
2016, 2017, the scientific community acknowledged that chimpanzees had entered the Stone Age, their own version of the Stone Age, where they started crafting tools out of stone.
Okay.
So I mean, it's getting to the point now where we're not the only ones. We're the furthest ahead.
Yeah.
But like, has there been other species on this planet that have moved further ahead than us?
Just don't know.
Well, it's like we talk about aliens. Well, maybe that's just another species that was here first.
Yeah.
And they excelled further than we did, faster than we did, and who knows?
Yeah.
But like, realistically, when you think about it, we have all these stories. That you take the Mesopotamian theology of the Anunnaki, where they're aliens that came from another solar system and they genetically developed us from the apes that were on the planet now, or at that time, and added their DNA and made us. Well, we're doing the same shit with dogs and cats.
Yep.
I mean, we're selectively breeding them to fit whatever our needs are.
Yeah.
And
I'm just I feel like what is it when they say not crimes against humanity, but playing God, or we've been doing that for a very long time. People, animals. I just feel like
we've curtailed ourselves to an extent where we don't allow cloning, like complex cloning.
Because we still have this. A lot of people, they're like, okay, well, if you clone yourself, like, well, does that clone have a soul? What does that mean? All these different things to where what is a soul?
That escapes the scientific argument and starts going into
is a copy of your original.
Well, it's like, what is a twin but a clone in of itself? And we acknowledge twins to be
their own
individual
self.
They get their own birth certificate, social security number.
Exactly. When does it get to the point if you clone yourself? Let's not say you clone 3 of your clones and then you end up dying.
Well, we have the means to do genetic editing right now. We can have designer children to where we can selectively edit their genome to where they don't have certain diseases. They're not susceptible to certain illnesses. Like, there was a guy in Japan that made twins that were HIV resistant.
Yeah. They just didn't last that long.
No, they're very drastically short lifespan, but
my biggest concern with that, where it's like, where does it end? I mean, you get to the point where you have, like, you're the who's edited, who's not, and then
we're already murdering children out of convenience.
I mean,
we're murdering unborn children out of convenience. I mean, who are we to say that someone cannot selectively edit their genes?
I mean, that's not. But then, doesn't it get to the point where we're murdering unborn children. We're also murdering kids. Where if you have too many in certain places, you can't have that.
Yep. Well,
to where
China's up to the 2-child policy, where if your first one's a girl, you can have another one, but if it's another girl, you can't have another one. So
I mean,
they've one-upped for the 1-child policy.
Yeah, I mean they kind of added to it.
You know what's fucked up is China has a shortage on women because of the 1-child policy.
Oh yeah.
It's like 1 woman to like
10 minutes.
Dude, it's way more than that.
Oh my god.
I don't. Hang on.
So wait. So what did they not account for? Did they not account for, like, if you don't have a ratio, like, I guess traditionally, of course, like, the male is like, that's what you want, as far as tradition and everything like that. But you have to marry you have to marry your son off to a woman.
Yes.
So,
but it's
So what did they not account for? Well, I feel like did they overdo it a bit? I guess.
Say you're a poor farming family.
Yeah.
Son is going to be able to do more work.
Yeah.
They're going to. There's just certain advantages in their culture to having a male over a female.
Yeah. Okay.
Where they would either abandon or just straight up murder their daughter to be able to try again to have a son.
Okay. But my thing about it is like because you can't really control like what you have like unless you want to do gene editing, which I'm sure that wasn't available. So you're gonna have, and now they're in this problem to where we have too many men and not enough women. So what do you?
There are 34 million more Chinese men than Chinese women.
Jesus. That's a fucked up ratio. Jesus Christ.
The gender gap is widest for those of marriage age. In 2018, China had 280 males aged 15 to 29 for every 100 females of that age.
Okay, that's not. Okay, that's still a gap. That's double, but it's not like it's not on some like 1 out of 100 shit. It's
34 million more males than females.
And then also some of them might not like women.
34 million men that will not have a partner.
And that's they value that shit like in that culture. So you kind of did it to yourselves, unfortunately. But
I don't know if they did it to themselves, but they definitely didn't fight it.
Yeah.
You want to wrap this one up?
Nah, of course. But with that being the case, guys, matter of fact, what are we gonna call this one? I can't believe I called the last one King James Airline.
Hey man. Yeah. My man, everything's epic, even including how far his hairline has receded.
Yeah.
He just stopped. He don't even care in the back no more. He just stopped caring.
Dude, you might as well just get the baldy, honestly.
Okay. See, and the problem is if he does that, they're gonna call him out for trying to be Michael.
Well,
it's like Jordan went bald
because he had no choice. That's when you don't have any other options, you better gonna cut your losses. You don't want to have the George Jefferson or the George Costanza. So, with that being the case, guys, my name's Aaron.
And I'm Trevor.
And we're out of here. Later, guys.
Good night, guys.